Hello and welcome to the online operative training of the ASHTAS Safety Hardware Training Accreditation Scheme. This is video 1 of 3 as part of the pre-learning material for the ASHTAS Operative Training Course. ASHTAS acknowledges the Australian Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the first inhabitants of the nation and the traditional custodians of the lands where we live, learn and work. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, traditions, culture and hopes of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples of Australia. ASHTAS also acknowledges and respects the Treaty of Wonthaggi and Maori as the original people of New Zealand. I would also like to express to this training session, we all have a responsibility to advance an inclusive culture. We respect and value each other's differences. We encourage curiosity and challenge existing stereotypes. And we all need to stand up and break the silence about discrimination, harassment, bullying, disrespect and hostile behaviour. It is also noted that this presentation does have some dialogue regarding road accidents. My name is Tony Bull and I am your trainer for today. I worked with Vic Roads / Department of Transport for almost 39 years. I held various positions over these years, but largely specialised in road maintenance and road construction. Up until my early retirement in late 2022, I was the statewide program manager of maintenance across regional Victoria. On 3 occasions, I have worked overseas in the Philippines, Dubai and Indonesia with Vic Roads International, delivering documentation and training material for traffic management at roadworks. I was the Vic Roads / DOT representative on the AusRoads and Standards Australia committees for management of traffic at roadworks for many years. I've been delivering this AusRoads Safety Hardware Training Accreditation Scheme operative training since July 2023. Looking at some housekeeping for this online training session, please ensure you have an emergency exit available to you. You understand where your evacuation area is. You have amenities available to you. That you take regular breaks from this training session. We will be requiring a photo of yourself for the licence at the end of this training session. And also noted that the course evaluation will be emailed to you, and we do encourage you to return that course evaluation. This training session is made up of 4 modules: an overview, introduction, system performance, terminology. Then we have a wrap-up looking at some design and installation issues. We will have an overview of the operative testing process, and then at the end of the course, there will be a multiple choice test with a required pass mark of 80%. The types of barriers we'll be looking at are all types: flexible system, weak post systems, strong post systems, rigid systems. We also look at crash cushions, terminals, and also temporary systems. Looking at this photo, can you see what the main issue is with this approach / leading terminal? If this is struck head on, this terminal is designed for the extruder head to travel horizontally along the guardrail beams, flattening the W profile of the beam and extruding the flattened section away from the traffic face. It is this action that absorbs the kinetic energy of the impacting vehicle. Unfortunately, this assembly has not been installed correctly, and therefore it is the approach terminal. If it was struck head on by an oncoming vehicle, the W beam could spear into the vehicle rather than being extruded away from the face of the traffic. It is these types of incorrect barrier installations that we do not want out on our road network. Module 1, Overview. We'll look at AusRoads and Lantra, who are AusRoads, who are Lantra, and an explanation of the partnership between AusRoads and Lantra. We'll look at the statement of purpose, why this training program has been initiated, the purpose of the program, And some learning outcomes. What can the candidate expect from today's training? Austroads and Lantra. Austroads is the association of the Australian and New Zealand transport agencies representing all levels of government. They provide practical and impartial advice, information, tools and services to help members deliver efficient, reliable and safe mobility to their customers. Austroads solves problems for transport agencies in Australia and New Zealand. They have a focus on making mobility safer and more reliable for all users and our transport infrastructure sustainable and future-proof. They also provide national services that help transport agencies to operate seamlessly across state borders and bring national efficiencies to their operation. Lantra is a provider of expert training and qualifications for the United Kingdom industry, including the road safety hardware and traffic management safety industries. It has been working closely with these initiatives for over 20 years. It is because of this expertise that Austroads have brought Lantra into the room to manage or help manage this Austroads Safety Hardware Training Accreditation Scheme. It was identified across all jurisdictions that there was a need to raise the level of design, installation and maintenance of road barriers on the Australian and New Zealand road network. Members identified examples of poor design that has put road users at risk. A working group was formed to formulate an accreditation program, the outcomes of which are to create a world-class network, a right first time culture, a reduction in infrastructure costs, and of course, ultimate outcome is a reduction in road deaths and serious injuries. Taking into consideration the learning outcomes, this today is the start of a journey between Austroads and the barrier industry. The first stage of this process is to achieve your operative status, to understand what the scheme requirements are and how you can contribute to the scheme, and also the promotion of road safety through your actions. The learning outcomes include an understanding of the Austroads Safety Hardware Training and Accreditation Scheme, known as the ASHTAS framework, training and progression routes, history of guardrail, quality and standards, general terminology, parts of a road, installation requirements, system testing and system usage. Moving into Module 2, we'll look at in more detail of ASHTAS, training and progression, history of road restraint systems and Austroads, and quality control, assurance and standards. So the objective of the scheme, the aim of this partnership between Austroads and Lantra is to provide an industry benchmark through a framework titled Austroads Safety Hardware Training Accreditation Scheme for Quality Management of Barrier Systems. The scheme is referred to as ASHTAS. Throughout this presentation, we have included summary slides. This is to recap previous information, such as what is ASHTAS? ASHTAS is the Austroads Safety Hardware Training Accreditation Scheme. ASHTAS is based on the International Quality Framework ISO 9001-2015, which has 10 key sections. Section 1, 2 and 3 are information for an organisation. These are scope, normative references, which are other documents that are necessary for the application of this standard, and Section 3, terms and definitions. Sections 4 to 10 are the requirements an organisation needs to meet to achieve certification. These are context of the organisation, leadership, planning, support, operation, evaluating the quality management system's performance, and improvement. The key sections of ASHTAS for operatives and installers are sections 7, 8, 9 and 10 of ISO 9001-2015. These are support, operations, performance and evaluation, and improvement. The support looks at resources, including plant and equipment, records, training records, and other requirements that will support an operative and installer to provide a quality product. The operation looks at design, purchasing, site works, records, and traceability. Have you got an up-to-date design? Have you purchased the correct components for the installation? Have you looked at the site works? Has the site has had a hazard assessment, a risk assessment, and have these hazards and risks been mitigated? Do you have records of these? Do you have records of the safe work method statements that people have signed on to those? Do you have records of the take fives, of the startup meetings and alike? And are these records traceable? When you have all this in place, you're able to undertake the operation, the installation. Then you look at performance and evaluation. Has the end result been built as designed? You look at to make sure that nothing has been overlooked or mistakes haven't been rectified. And then you look at improvements. This includes any non-conforming products or outcomes and the associated corrective actions required. So it is a holistic approach to ensure that we have a quality outcome of a barrier install from the very beginning. There's a requirement in the building industry or construction industry to have your construction induction card, or if you're in New Zealand, your Construct Safe card. This places emphasis on the employee and employer to ensure you have a safe place of work that meets the requirements of your OHS, WHS acts and regulations. Undertaking the white card training is a requirement of this ASHTAS Operative Training course. It ensures that you understand your safe systems of work, you understand how to do a risk assessment, hazard assessment, what work instructions are required for a particular activity you're undertaking, and in this case, barrier installation. It ensures that you understand the design requirements, the site drawings and specification, that you understand the system's owner's specification of the product you are installing to ensure that we will provide an installation that has been installed to the correct quality and is safe for its use and its intended use. What is competency? Competence is the ability to do something well or efficiently. And look at the acronym SCATE, skills, knowledge, attitude, training, and experience. This ensures we have a competent person, competent teams, and competent to ensure we have a quality outcome for an installation we're undertaking. This includes your skills. These are the skills you have developed over time, the knowledge you have regarding the application of the information, and you use it to ensure a right first time activity. Attitude, this relates how you work, to make sure you have that positive right first time attitude, that the training is evidence of the knowledge you have gained, and experience. This is time bound. It cannot have instant experience. You cannot have instant experience. So therefore, competency ensures that you have that holistic approach of ensuring we have that quality outcome for barrier installation. Looking at career progression, this is the start of the journey as mentioned, and this is the ASHTAS operative training. From there will be opportunities to undertake ASHTAS installer training, and then from the installer you can have passage to experienced installer, ensuring you follow the requirements of managing a logbook, doing quality installs, audits being undertaken of your work, and those audits are showing positive outcomes. But also under this ASHTAS scheme, you have to ensure that there is no alone working. So therefore, there has to be a nominated leading hand or supervisor, because under this accreditation, or this scheme, I should say, there is an expectation that the quality work will be signed off by the installer. Currently, jurisdictions are having the suppliers sign off on the install. This is a way forward to ensure we get a quality outcome, that now is undertaken by the installer, that this sign off, the certificate of compliance, will be signed off by the installer. So therefore, if there are two installers on the same pay scale, one is to be nominated as leading hand to ensure that you have that ownership of signing off. So the training framework and competency path, if you like to say, is you have the prerequisite training, which is your construction induction card, or your construct safe card. Moving into the operative, then from the operative training, you'll move into the installer training. Installer training will be a system that you are trained in each system that you are installing, whether it be a domain product or a proprietary product. This will depend on the training, the install training you undertake. As part of this install process or installer process, you are to maintain a logbook. It will be an e-logbook, and you are to record the evidence of an installation you have undertaken or completed. As with most industries training, there is an expectation that you will renew your training every 36 months. Before you start work on site, do you have up-to-date safe systems of work? Have these been briefed to each employee? Has each employee signed off on those safe systems of work? Do you have the current site drawings? Do they have clear instructions? Is everybody briefed on these instructions? Do you have the correctly trained personnel with the correct skill set and worker ratio? Do you have the correct plant and the tools to complete the task? Do you have a fully briefed plan for the shift? Do you have a safe place to work? Have all risks and hazards been mitigated? And if you undertake installer training, there will be short checklists given for each product group to assist with the quality of the installation. Looking at the training outline, a record of the training will be available via a smart app. It will be unique to you, so that will be available once you have completed this training session. The training will require a refresher every 36 months. A record of your experience will be via that virtual logbook that we spoke about. There will be some verification of the work. This could be via observation or interview. And the loss of ASHTAS installer and ASHTAS experienced installer status could occur if you fail to maintain your training and or demonstrate repeated poor quality of an installation. In summary, specification and checklists. The crew plan forms the daily briefing for the works being undertaken and will include any specific quality requirements. Training, refresher training will be required to be undertaken every 36 months. This is to maintain product knowledge and good practice. Crew size and composition. Under this framework, alone working is not permitted. The minimum crew size is 2. Of those 2, at least one must be an installer, and one of those must be nominated as the leading hand. The maximum crew size is 8. The maximum installer to operative ratio, is 1 installer to 3 operatives. So if you've got a crew size of 8, you must have at least 2 installers to the 6 operatives. Everybody can be installers. That would be great, but it will be most likely that you won't have those available, but there must be 2 installers to 6 operatives for a crew size of 8. Remembering one of those installers needs to be nominated as the leading hand. Supervisors and labour hire crew are not considered part of the crew size and composition because they're not controlling the quality of the installation. So in summary, no lone working, the minimum crew size is 2. Maximum crew size is 8. The ratio of installers to operatives is 1 to 3. Specialists and labourers are not part of the crew's ratio as they are not controlling the quality of the installation. And looking at the table below, crew makeups are shown. So looking at a crew size of 7, you would have to have at least 2 installers and to 5 operatives. Crew size of 5, you would still need to have 2 installers to the 3 operatives because you need to maintain that ratio of 1 to 3. Quality assurance and quality control. The Plan, Do, Check, Act PDCA cycle is a core element of ASHTAS under your control. Your planning ensures you have the right skills, materials, standards, drawings, equipment, all available to you to undertake the installation, the doing. After you've done the quality install, you inspect, audit, check to ensure that the product will meet the requirements that has been specified either by the road authority or the manufacturer. Then you release, or if required, rectify if necessary. You act. So quality assurance, QA, that's the procedure or set of procedures intended to ensure that a product or service before work is complete, as opposed to afterwards, meets the specified requirements. Quality control is a procedure or set of procedures intended to ensure that a manufactured product or performed service adheres to a defined set of quality criteria or meets the requirements of the client or customer. So in summary, quality assurance is how you will do it. The quality control is you doing it to ensure it meets that quality assurance outcome. And this is all done through your Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. Total quality management and right first time. So starting with the road authority, the road owner, they will look at a requirement to install barriers. They will obtain approved design for the works. So therefore, then from that approved works will come the installation, the installers, the operatives. They will install the product as designed. They will install the product as per the manufacturer's specification, and they will supply the certificate of compliance. The road authority will verify that compliance and open the road. This provides the safe place to travel, but from that, you'll also receive feedback from the customer, the road user, and this is the cycle that will continue to ensure we have a safer network for all to use. This model then drives right first time. This provides quality metrics, quality, cost, delivery, correct product and build, no rework, minimum time on the job, compliant materials, reduction in traffic interruptions, happy clients, good reputation, correct as-built records. Following on from the previous slide, the ASHTAS quality framework is quality cost delivery. A right first-time approach, the management of cost that benefits both the client and the organisation. Delivery, we end up with the correct product in the correct environment within the correct timescales. Remembering, quality is the responsibility of everyone. I can't stress that enough. Everybody is responsible for quality, not just the supervisor, not just the engineer, everybody on site. So your quality responsibilities is to meet the requirements of the installation. And if necessary, stop and request clarification of an activity. Don't just soldier on blindly. Make sure if you don't understand a requirement for a particular job, stop and ask. Clarification, whether it's from the designer, whether it's from the supervisor, make sure that you're doing the right activity to ensure a quality install. This is to provide a system that meets the installation designer's specification. You install a system that meets the system's owner's specification, and to work safely to ensure you and your work colleagues return home in the same condition as you left. This is our right in Australia and New Zealand. Under our legislation, we may go home 8 to 10 hours older, but we are to go home in the same condition. And remember, if in doubt, ask. Summarising quality. If an operative is working in a particular state or territory, say Queensland or Victoria, you should comply with that road authority specification. If an operative is unsure of an installation activity they are working on, they should stop work and request clarification from the lead installer, supervisor or site manager. The ASHTAS quality framework is quality cost delivery, and everybody is responsible for quality. Looking at the barrier design process, the documents utilised by barrier designers to produce site drawings include the Australian New Zealand Standard 3845-1 2015, Road Safety Barrier Systems and Devices. It is the national standard for Australia and New Zealand when considering road safety hardware specifications and requirements. Then we have the Austroads Guide to Road Design, the AGRD. The guidance for barrier systems is contained in Part 6 of this guide, Roadside Design, Safety and Barriers. Each Austroads member then issues a supplementary design document against this AGRD. This may include any additional product criteria and may also take into consideration local conditions and requirements. The designer will generate a barrier system based on these documents and may also include specific information supplied by the client. As mentioned in the previous slide, the Austroads Guide to Road Design, Part 6, provides guidance on roadside design and in particular guidance on evaluating the risk of roadside and the selection and use of road safety barrier systems. Part 6 provides information to enable designers to understand the principles that lead to the design of safer roads. This includes identifying hazards, undertake a risk assessment process of roadside hazards, establish the need for treatment of hazards and determine the most appropriate treatment. This process includes a comprehensive 16-step process is to select the most suitable barrier to protect a roadside hazard. So in summary for design, Part 6 of the Austroads Guide to Road Design, the AGRD, is the principal requirement for road safety hardware installation, maintenance and repair.